G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Cody and today I will be doing the 2022 NRL season review of the Manly Sea Eagles. Before we get into the video, if you're new around here, make sure you click that subscribe button. I'm currently on 564 subscribers. My goal is to reach 600 subscribers by the end of November, and my main goal is to reach 1,000 by the start of the 2023 NRL season. So if we can get to 600 subscribers by the end of November, that would be great. So make sure you've subscribed. Other than that, let's get into today's video. The Sea Eagles finished in 11th place this year, playing a total of 24 games, scoring 20 points, with 9 wins and 15 losses, scoring a total of 490 points in the season, while conceding a total of 595 points, with a points differential of negative 105. The Sea Eagles had a home record of 7 wins and 5 losses, while their away record was one of the worst, with 2 wins and 10 losses, and in the last 5 games of the season they did not win one game between round 21 and 25. The Sea Eagles started off in round 1 with a big loss, losing to the Panthers at Bluebet Stadium 28-6, before losing to the Roosters at the SCG in round 2 26-12. In round 3, Manly finally scored their first win after Daly Cherry Evans scored a winning field goal in the 76th minute, with Manly winning 13-12 against the Bulldogs. In round 4, up at Mudgee this time, they beat the Raiders 25-6, before in round 5 flogging the Newcastle Knights 30 points to 6 at McDonald Jones Stadium, before returning to Lotto Land in round 6 to win again, this time against the Gold Coast Titans 26-18. Their winning ways came to an end in round 7 as they would lose to the Sharks in a close game at PointsBet Stadium 34-22. Before in round 8 coming up to the Central Coast against my team, the Rabbitohs. I was at that game, check out the vlog if you haven't seen it yet, with the Rabbitohs winning 40-22 at the Central Coast Stadium. Before in round 9 they would bounce back to beat the Tigers in an entertaining match 36-22, before getting smashed by the Broncos in Magic Round 38-0 in round 10. Manly would lose their next 2 matches in round 11 and round 12. In round 11, they would lose to the Eels in a close match at CommBank Stadium 22-20, before losing to one of their rivals, the Melbourne Storm, 28-8 in round 12 at Amy Park, before bouncing back to beat the Warriors, or smash the Warriors, at 4 Pines Park 44-12. In round 14 at Campbelltown, the Manly would flog the Tigers 30 points to 4, before just losing to the Cowboys at 4 Pines Park 28-26 against the Cowboys in round 15. In round 16, they would actually beat their rivals, the Storm, this time in a close match 36-30 at 4. After beating the Storm, round 17 they had the bye. Round 18, they would smash the Knights at 4 Pines Park 42-12. Unbeknownst to Manly, this was going to be their final win of the season. So from rounds 19 to 25, they will go on to lose their last 7 games. In round 19, they will lose to the Dragons at Nostrada Jubilee Stadium 20-6. And then round 20 just made it a lot more worse. In this game, 7 players were stood down due to them refusing not to wear the Pride jersey for this round against the Roosters. Well, regardless, the Manly would go on to lose 20-10. Round 21, they'll get beaten they were beaten by the Eels 36-20 at 4 Pines Park, before being flogged by the Titans 44-24 at Cbus Super Stadium. Round 23, they got smashed at 4 Pines Park, losing to the Sharks 40 points to 6. Round 24 in Canberra against the Raiders, getting smashed by 42 points, 48-6. And then round 25, another 1-pointer between the Dogs and Manly, but this time the Dogs would go on to win by 1 point, 21-20 at Accor Stadium. Manly's top point scorer was Ruben Garrick with 162 points. He was also the top try scorer for Manly, scoring 12 points. Christian Tupou was close, scoring 11 tries for Manly. Now going through Manly's best wins, rounds 4 and 5 were good wins for Manly. Round 4 against the Raiders, 25-6, and flogging the Knights in round 5, 30 points to 6. Round 9 against the Tigers, 36-22. And I think this is their best win of the season, was against Melbourne in round 16, where they beat them 36-30. Now, I think that was definitely their best game, even though their biggest win of the season was against the Warriors, where they flogged them 44-12. Going through Manly's worst losses, 28-6 against Penrith in round 1, 38-0 against the Broncos in round 10. That was one of their biggest losses of the season, or I believe that was their biggest losses. Another worst loss, I think, losing to the Titans in round 22, 44-24. Unbelievable. 40 points to 6 against the Sharks. And this is their worst loss against the Raiders, 48-6. Manly season was disappointing this year, but I'll have to go with the Raiders first. Manly, that was their worst loss. As of the 5th of November, these are all the players who have been let go to other clubs or signed with Manly. Manly have signed Ben Condon from the North Queensland Cowboys, Austin Dallas from the West Tigers, Dean Madison from the Mounties New South Wales Cup side, Nathaniel Roach as a free agent, and Kelma Tuolungi from the West Tigers. Manly have lost 5 players for next year. So they've lost Andrew Davey to the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, Kieran Foran to the Gold Coast Titans, James Seguiaro to the France Les Arons ex-Triple-I club, which is in South France. Martin Tapau has been released. He's been rumored to go to the Rabbitohs. I don't know if that will be true. We'll just got to find. I think it could happen. I don't mind Martin Tapau come to the club. We'll just wait and see. And Dylan Walker to the New Zealand Warriors. Overall, Manly's season was very disappointing, especially towards the end of the season, which I'll get into that very shortly. But if I'm grading Manly, I'll have to give them a 4.5 out of 10. I give them a 4.5 out of 10, is not just because their season was disappointing, but majority of everyone expected them to finish in the 8, in the top 4, or to make the grand final, or even win it. I had them in the top 4 this year. Not to win the grand final, but at least make the top 4. But then, to my shock, they finished in 11th place. But overall, they were pretty disappointing. Before all the Pride jersey and the other saga in the off-season, Manly were doing alright for themselves. They were around 8th spot or in the top 8 by round 19. And in round 20, that's when it all completely changed. 7 players were stood down due to them refusing to wear a Pride jersey that's to represent the LBG community. Why would Manly unveil a gay jersey or Pride jersey? The NRL's thinking of bringing an NRL jersey, bringing a Pride round into the comp next year. If that's going to happen, it's not just Manly, it's going to be affected. All clubs are going to be affected if this happens. At least half the starting at least half the starting players will refuse to play and wear that jersey because of their sexuality or something, of what they think they are portrayed as. Now, I'm not going to go into depth about the saga, but all I'm going to say is it was a really stupid decision for Manly or even the NRL to introduce a Pride jersey for the club, which that really affected them after round 20. And not just that, Des Hasler, the head coach, was also sacked about a week or two ago after this recording. For reasons unknown, it was rumoured that he wasn't well liked by a couple of players, but I think it was a stupid decision to let go of Des Hasler. I mean, he's a good coach. Sure, he hasn't won a premiership with the club in a decade, or just over a decade, because Manly last won the premiership in 2011. But he got them there he made Manly make the top 4 along with Turbo and other players in 2021. But they're rumoured they're going to introduce a new coach such as Anthony Seibold. Even though he came to my club in 2018, I think that was a good decision at the time. But him going to Broncos, that's for a different time. But Seibold coming to the Manly Sea Eagles, I'm 50-50 for this decision. Sure, he was a good coach to start off with the Rabbitohs. Like that's why I think he should go. But the other half is because he got sacked because he led the Broncos to a wooden spoon, or he got sacked before the Broncos got the spoon in 2020. I think that's a terrible decision if he goes to Manly. I don't know who would coach Manly, but if it's going to be Seibold, I guess we'll just see what happens from there, because Manly are already in enough trouble. But Manly got to pick themselves up, and I'm hoping they can do better next year. If not, if they have Seibold, they're going to go down the ladder. I'm sorry, they're not going to make the 8 if they get Seibold. Maybe bring back Tooney or something. He was a good coach for Manly before Des Hasler came back to the club. But we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, with that out of the way, I personally think Manly will do a bit better next year. They've got a couple key players like Ben Condon and Tuolungi. I think they're good 2 players that can help out with the forward pack, and the back row and the front pack with Manly. But best players for Manly this year, Cherry Evans plays well as always. Christian Inu, or Tupu, sorry. Ruben Garrick. Andrew Davey played an alright season. Jake Dvojevic is their main forward. He played very well this year. And a couple more other Manly players, but overall Manly really sucked this year. I hope they can improve. I won't be surprised if they do make the 8 next year. It just depends on the coach they get. Now, who do they get? I do not know. If it's going to be Seibold, we're just got to live with it. But overall, Manly, you've got to pick up your game. Everyone expected them to finish in the 8, and they didn't. But overall, Manly season, very disappointed. Other than the Tigers, they were the most disappointing team this year. But I hope things can improve for Manly, and as long as a Pride jersey is not introduced into the comp for next year, I know that's something different, but as long as Manly do not bring that out again, they should do alright next year. But overall, disappointing season. Hope everything can get better for the club. Anyways, everyone, that will come towards the end of the Manly Sea Eagles 2022 season review video. Overall, other than the Pride saga and all that jazz, Manly had a disappointing season. I'm hoping they will improve next year. Will they make the top 4? I'll be shocked if they do. If they make the 8, won't be surprised. But if they're a bottom 4 team, not surprised either. But anyways, next team I will be doing will be my team, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So I'll be doing my team in the next video. Anyways, I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Take care.